And the enrollment decline, it could add to an existing problem within the public school system. We're talking about the national teacher shortage. More than 300,000 public school teachers and other staff quit since 2020. And more educators, they plan to do the same. A recent poll by the National Education Association, the NEA, found that 55% of teachers say they would leave education sooner than planned. That's up from 37% last August. At NewsNation, it is our mission to hear directly from you, to have a conversation with you rather than just talk at you in our series, Answers for America. It's something you'll only see right here on NewsNation. And we want to bring in Kathleen Porter-Magee, a superintendent of partnership schools, which is a network of urban Catholic schools. Thank you so much, Kathleen, for being here. Now, how does declining student body numbers, just the number of students who decide to be re-enrolled or parents who re-enroll their children, impact teachers and educators?
I mean, there are lots of ways it impacts teachers and educators. I think the first and most important is it impacts the budgets. So the way schools are funded is that essentially there is a per pupil allocation. And so if you have declining enrollments, obviously the total budget that you're going to have to spend goes down along with that. And so I think what we're seeing right now, the past 2.5 to 3 years in the COVID environment has been a period of great instability. And we're still seeing that shake out, and we're seeing that shake out most directly when it comes to parents deciding where to send their kids and when it comes to enrollment. And so I think what we're going to see most immediately in these large urban districts that have lost thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of students, is we're going to see kind of a right sizing of budgets. And I think that in the near term, that's going to add to the instability because it's going to force leaders to make difficult decisions kind of right now about how many staff that they can afford and how many staff they need. Over time, I think we'll find equilibrium, but I think in the near term, it'll contribute to the feeling of instability that we've had for the past couple of years.
Let's ask, or rather hear from one of our viewers in Florence, Alabama. This is Jesse Lung. Let's listen.
What are school districts doing to encourage teachers to come to their school districts?
Yeah, what is the incentive right now?
So I think there are a couple of different things that schools and districts can do. And I think about them kind of on the tactical side, and then I think about them on the culture side. On the tactical side, what we're seeing, because we're experiencing this as well, I run a network of urban Catholic schools, and we run schools in New York City and also in Cleveland, Ohio. And we are fighting to find great talent right now, along with all other schools across the country. And what we're experiencing is that teachers, we know, are in high demand, and there are schools and districts that are offering signing bonuses, particularly for hard to staff areas. And so I think, I know in the previous segment, the gentleman said that right now schools do have some money to play around with, particularly from COVID relief. I think thinking creatively about how to use some of that funding potentially to provide a signing bonus or other incentives. That's something we're seeing, and I think that's something that schools can consider. But then I also think there's a second piece of the puzzle that is at least as important, and that is the culture that you build. I think one of the things that we're experiencing, not just in education, but across sectors, is that people are looking for warm and supportive work environments. And so I think that is something that is very much within school leaders and district leaders' control, to find a way to provide that kind of supportive culture that's going to not just attract people today, but retain them for the long term.
We have time for just one more question from a viewer in Osprey, Florida. This is Tom. Let's listen.
So my question about education and teacher salaries is, how do we make things more equal from state to state and even from district to district so that teachers in all districts and states feel valued?
I mean, it would have to be in perspective to the cost of living of an area, right? And how many students are in the classroom?
Absolutely. I think we can benchmark salaries, but I think the idea of standardizing, I mean, we have, such a vast and diverse nation. And as you said, with different cost of living, very, very different between, urban areas and rural areas, one state and another. And so I think what we want to look for is not necessarily standardization, but benchmarking kind of within and across communities. And I think that's something that leaders try to do because they know they're competing within their their community for top talent. And so I think that's something that's fresh on our mind, but it's something you're going to have to continue to look for and really try to do, especially as the labor market is particularly tight.
All right, Kathleen, thank you very much for being with us. And Jesse and Tom, thanks for asking great questions. You can send us your questions at newsnationnow.com/answersforamerica. We'll answer them live on the air. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.